Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to yet another fireside chat here for Silver Tiger Metals with my good friend Glenn Jessen. Glenn, good to see you again.
Florian, one of the rare occasions we get to talk when I'm in Halifax and you're at home. How's
Yeah.
everything going?
I'm doing well, thank you. Spring is coming, and it's already 5 weeks ago that you and I chatted and spent a great time in Zurich. Time is flying
Unbelievable.
fast. Lots of things going on in the world. Of course, markets never sleep. And yeah, here we are. Up and down, quite a wild ride, especially, of course, due to the geopolitical drama in the Middle East. Now we have the ceasefire extension again. We've seen yet another tackle by Mr. Trump. But yeah, basically, it's a wild card. It remains a wild card. Pretty unclear how this is really playing out. Hopefully, we will see peace continue here, and hopefully they will come to some form of a negotiation, and the whole situation calms down, because not only for the markets, but of course for the whole worldwide economy, it would be very important that things calm down and that we can go back to doing our business. Anyway, it is what it is. The metals were affected like all the other markets or market sectors as well. We've seen a nice rebound in silver and gold over the last few weeks since that low of $61 on 23rd of March. However, last Friday, silver topped out at 83. So yeah, nearly $22 in just 5 weeks. Unbelievable move once again. So still a lot of volatility in our dear silver market. And it shows, I think, that the bigger picture, the secular bull market in precious metals is intact. And I think to qualify this situation that we're in right now, it's very simple. It's a healthy breather. We have seen a spectacular rally last year into yeah, late January, early February of this year. Silver made it up to $122. And now it's consolidating and digesting that big move. I think it's totally normal. I've been expecting that more or less. Of course, the geopolitical drama has escalated the whole situation a little bit, but I think overall everything is in place. And if we look at the fundamental situation, I can tell you that 15% premium in Shanghai is still on the books. So that means the physical market in China is still tight. The Chinese continue to buy silver. There is also new news just the other day that the Chinese have basically imported more silver in the last few months again. Maybe we can blend in that chart as well during this recording here. So everything's in place. I think, by the way, one very important consequence out of this drama in the Middle East is that we're going to see a global arms race. I think that's what's going to happen. It's not going to only be Israel and America and Iran, but of course Russia, China, the Europeans, the Germans. They're all needing to build up more military weapons, and as we all know, they need a lot of silver for that. So I think in the longer run, the bull case is absolutely healthy, intact. We are in a healthy breather. Could maybe take a little bit longer. My absolute worst case scenario is that we're going to test that breakout zone between 45 and 55, but I only see that coming if we get really more escalation here on the geopolitics side, and also if the stock markets would roll over and we would see maybe a liquidity crunch or something. But these are like the worst case scenarios that I have laid out for myself. Other than that, it's going to be a healthy breather here until probably midsummer, and then usually third and fourth quarter, you're going to see the metals running up again. So I think everything's still in place.
That,
Everything's
that's it. That's two things. Two things. If you're telling me that the worst case scenario, and I'm smiling inside, that silver is $50. That's the worst end of the world scenario. You imagine? We used to dream about $50. Like I wake in the night and go, wow, that was a dream. Silver was $50. And here we are saying worst downside. So what a change in the overall market. And I guess what you're saying also, the charts and all these things you look at, you can talk about some of that. I find it fascinating when you do with me with respect to on the other side of this cyclically through the summer, as we see every year picking up steam late summer, fall. And boy, if we're starting from here, what a run it could be.
Exactly. And I think one important aspect of this correction or breather or healthy breather, as I call it, people need to consider here, especially in the case of silver tiger metals. I mean, you guys actually want to see higher silver price in a year, in 1.5 years. Right now, it actually
Yeah.
doesn't matter too much, right? So
Well, it
let's
affects
give a little bit
sentiment
of
and it
time
keeps
here.
everybody happy, but I get it. Yes, you're right. So we could be, and I didn't plant this with you. You brought it up. People say, oh yeah, Jessome told Florian to say that. So we could be hitting perfect timing on stride by December 2027 when we start making dory bars, silver and gold, to be in a very good position. Is that what you're seeing over a couple of hills or over the horizon?
No, exactly. December 2027, I'm pretty sure that the current correction will be done and over, and we are in a new uptrend. So that's what I wanted
Wow,
to
that was
say.
fantastic. Wow. Well, thank you for that. You've made my morning here in Halifax, Florian. Anything else? I guess what we see is, and I talked about this the last time. I am not a student of pricing like you are. We're so focused on building Tiger, getting exploring, getting the underground going. The price we kind of almost say will be what it's going to be when we get there. I think a lot of things I see because I think about it lining up. Wow, we're in a new price environment for precious metals. It's getting very clear to the world where if $50 is the downside, boy, look out. $50 used to be our far, far, far upside, and now it's the downside. Incredible. The timing looks like it's lining up. But do you still see? I talked about the last time after 1973, that oil shock and that, I mean, a historic bull run that precious metals went on right through until 1979. Do you see some signals here that we're in that same sort of a sec up bull market for a while? Is that what you're? And I'm not asking your opinion because you're technical. I'm guessing, but you looking at charts, supply, all the things you look at, is that what you're still seeing as we talked about the last time?
Yeah, I think the 1970s obviously is kind of a giving us some hints where this whole thing could go.
Right.
And I think
Mhm.
if you had any doubts, the commodity super cycle is probably confirmed now with this Iran war and the run up in the oil price. I think the secondary effects we're going to see down the road coming slowly but surely, meaning uh, any anything from fertilizers to agriculture, everything will become more expensive. And the metals
Mhm.
have somehow already priced in that first leg up in everything. And I think the second one, the best is yet to come. If you use the 1970s bull market, we also had a breather in between, like the mid 1970s, 1974 to 1976, and then the spectacular final run up when silver went from a few dollars up to $50. So that is probably still to come for our sector. And but it might be going forward the next few weeks and months, maybe a few other commodities, a few other sectors within the commodity sector might do well. So I'm thinking of agriculture and potash and these kind of things. Until then, the metals are ready to lead the sector higher again. So that's my take right now. I think we are in a commodity super cycle, and as we know, I mean, silver is a commodity on steroids.
Absolutely. Look, thank you, Florian. Last thing, I look at it as a simple, and I agree with everything you're saying, and it's so fascinating. And thank you for having you on here. You've been so much more right than wrong for decades in this space. So I see exactly what's before you, but on a micro, I really have seen, the Americans and the Iranians have a bunch of, oh, we're solved it. No, we're back fighting. We solved it. No, no, the back and forth. But these back and forths have been fascinating because you just see the trade in oil, which is, let's face it, that trade, all the hedge, all the hedge money is following that oil trade. But the minute that starts to turn and things look like, oh, maybe this is the time it's going to be real, you can see that oil price just that trade comes off, and that's what it is. It's a trade in oil. And then so much of that money going other places, but a lot of it going to precious metals. Have you seen that? Because one of these times it's going to be real. I don't know if it's next week or next month or 3 months or whenever it's going to be, but it's going to be real. And that trade, that oil trade is going to come back to precious. I look at it as simply as that. Is that how you think about it a little bit too?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, oil trade, or let's say the oil market is a very complex market, actually even more complex than our dear
Of
precious
course.
metals markets,
I
right?
said I was looking at it very simplistically.
And the most important thing and or most interesting thing to me is that we are seeing yet again another bifurcation of an international market. So we have been talking and analyzing the precious metals. I talked about it initially today about the premiums in the Shanghai Gold Exchange. It's not the same price in the West and in the East. The West is more like the paper markets. The East is more the physical market. We also know that the critical metals, the rare earth, also see a bifurcation the other way around. Very flat prices in China, high premiums in the European Rotterdam spot market, for example. And now we're also seeing a bifurcation in the oil market. So the physical
Right.
price for oil is totally different than what we're trading in the Western futures oil markets and the derivatives and options on it, right? So it shows you just that this whole globalization that we enjoyed over the last 50 years is somehow not working anymore like it used to. And
Right.
this is super bullish for commodities, of course, because all the countries that are active in trading and in business, they need to now make sure that they get their hands on these commodities. And we have seen silver stopping to the export of, we've seen China stopping silver exports last December. Now we see this bifurcation in the oil market. Right now, oil is dominating. Yes, if it's up, everything else is kind of down. When it's down, everything is up. Hopefully, this calms down. It all depends on the negotiations that they're going to have. Of course, the world would need that breather for like lower oil prices and no more drama in the Middle East. But as we all know, this is a very, very complex topic. It is not something that happened in the last 2, 3 months. This is in the making since the 1950s, basically, right? And it's impossible to figure out who's right, who's wrong, who's guilty, who's not. It's just a very, very messy situation with lots of different interests. And of course, oil is still the most important commodity that makes the world go round. So it's a wild card, in my opinion. I just hope that things calm down and then the metals can basically return to the bull market sooner. If oil gets more expensive and breaks out above $120, well, fasten your seatbelts, I would say, for all markets.
Look, in my opinion, a couple of things. Thank you. That's been fascinating, and I know our listeners are gonna very very much enjoy digesting all that. I'm gonna end on that, and we're in Canada, of course, but we can't help but see the news like the rest of the world. And you just said something that resonated with me. Trump's mantra has been since he came down the escalator years ago and said he was going to run for president. Globalization is bad for the United States. Globalization hasn't helped us. And he's not a fan of globalization. And I think he basically said he was going to end globalization and that's happening. And you can see that happening. It's already happened. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, but that is nothing but positive. And I never thought of it that way until right now you said it. Clearly, that's very positive for precious metals. I mean, it's very positive. And I think that's a big part of maybe what's happened over the last year or so. So look, on that happy note, let's basically, we don't want to be too long. I promised I wasn't going to ramble on today when we first started. Short and sweet, let people have a quick message. But I think we should give a little update on Silver Tiger. Look, I do this regularly for my shareholders. So, but if there's some that only, and I guarantee if we looked at who watches this, only a tiny little percentage comes to watch me. They're coming to see the star, which is Florian Grummes. But in case there are some out there that want to hear about the Tiger, we'll give you a little update. Very simple. Everybody knows where we are. In January, we announced that we're going to basically, or earlier this year, we announced we're going to pour our first doré, which is a silver gold bar, in December of 2027. A lot of work to be done between now and then on that surface mine. It's going fantastic. As everyone knows, to summarize, we've got our own team led by Francisco Albalez, and he's put his whole build team back together from the big surface mines he built in Sonora over the last 10 or 15 years before he joined us. Married them up with KCA in the United States, and KCA Norte in Mexico, best surface mine heap leach builders we think on the planet. They're at it. It's going well. Basically, earthworks have begun. That will continue right through the process until we get to the end of 2027 and commission this thing and pour precious metals. The concrete work starts in the next week or so. Road construction, because camp installation will start very soon, is going very, very well. Flora fauna rescue is taking place. We basically will get that camp installed very early, as soon as possible, because that's when everybody's on site. We're moving, KCA is moving their team to site now. We have enough camp set up for that. Our team's on site. So it's just a flurry of activity, and the number of people there will go from 50 to 60 to 100 to 100. It's going to ramp up very quickly, and that's in the process right now. The big things that come first in the next, say, start in May will be your water treatment plant installation and basically your electrical, water, electrical, and sewage system will be put in. And excuse me, also starting in April, all the internal roads are being fixed up. And, that's really what we're at right now. That's the first step. We have a Gantt chart. I don't know if people understand what that is. That's a that's your that's your excuse me, vertical chart of all of the process of every step that needs to be taken right to the end. When the last line on that is somewhere in December of 2027, commissioning and first pour. There's a long, long list of things, but those are the things we're working on now. Everything is on track, on schedule. We're very excited, and that's the most important thing we're doing. And we're going to focus on that. So that's where the team is. But people like to hear, what else are we doing? This is a big, big project. That's the couple of kilometers of that surface mine. What's on the other 10 kilometers on each side of that, where it's that prolific, El Tigre mineralization continues. Finally, in the next week or so, and it may be this week, I haven't got an update on it yet. We finish all of the geotechnical drilling we had to do, and then we're immediately going to start drilling with those same drill rigs, new ore to the north. So get ready at some point here for some more El Tigre high grade silver and gold intercepts, as we start exploring and adding ounces to the north. And of course, there's still lots of work. Remember, we've got a beautiful PEA for that underground we put out. People remember that. It's still a PEA. More work has to be done there to move that to PFS, so that when we're ready, we can make a decision to go underground and build that. So very, very, very busy times, and team are. I have nothing but I'm so proud of our team down there. They're doing all this, and yeah, they're driving things forward very quickly. So that's really the update. We're head down. We have a line in the sand of December 2027. We better be making metal, and by then, it sounds like, by the way you're telling me, probably going to be a good time. So, on that, we'll end up. Look, thank you, Florian. It's a pleasure. Thank you. We'll come back. Look, we're either going to come back with another update of here. We're still kind of in a little bit of a sideways trend here, or one of these days, maybe next week, maybe in a month, this is going to be over. And then we'll come back and talk about what the world looks like, especially for precious metals, now that that is behind us, and we have a new path on the other side of the Middle East crisis.
Exactly, exactly. Let's plan for that. For sure, at least one more update before the summer break, maybe two, depending on how the markets behave. Thank you very much also for your update. I'm very happy to hear that everything goes according to plan and that there's a well-prepared plan in place for Silver Tiger. Looking forward to catch up with you in person again. Probably not before autumn or maybe the
No,
summer.
we're gonna, just to let people know what we're doing. We're all over the place still. We haven't stopped marketing, even though the market is a little sideways. So I think that I'm actually going to be at the Canaccord conference in Las Vegas somewhere around the middle of May. Don't quote the dates, but that conflicts with the European. I think there's a London show and another one in Europe that you're going to be at, but we're going to be there. I'm going to go. I'm going to go west to the Western U.S. to Nevada, do that show and do marketing there. And our VPIR, Devin Devarennes, a very smart fellow, he's a mining engineer. He actually was on El Tigre working on the site for 4 years. But then really once we needed to start telling the story all over the world, Devin moved to Toronto. He's our VPIR. He's going to go east from Halifax, I guess that would be, and he's going to go to Europe. So we'll be marketing both on each side of the world, and you'll get to see Devin there. And I know you'll be, hanging with him and helping him out. So anyone who was on that side of the pond, look forward to seeing us there in mid-May. And anyone who's in the United States, I'll see you guys in mid-May in Nevada.
Exactly. Yeah. Important point. So if you want to reach out to Devin and me, London and Frankfurt, mid of May, would love to meet all of you. Yeah. Send an email to Devin or to the Silver Tiger email address that we put in. And that's it from my side, Glenn.
That's
Wish
it.
you
Look, fantastic update. And, I think we'll be doing fireside chat. I got a feeling this thing's going to get solved pretty soon. And when that happens, we'll be back on and we'll take stock of where we are.
exactly. Perfect. All the
Thank
best
you.
for you and the viewers. Thanks.
Great to see you, my friend. Thank you.